Cool. So the purpose of this meeting is to talk about some customer stories so that we can note them for the capability statement. So we already have the one concept for VMR. Have you heard the story of VMR before?
No.
Because it's our most common case study, and there is a video of Tristram talking about it on our website.
Heard that part. I don't think I've actually.
And we have also something that this is a sideline as well, but something that I'd love for you to do for us one day. Is we do have a PowerPoint that is super cool because it actually takes us through the story of what we did for them in animation.
Okay.
So I've go through all this blah blah blah. But here, so for VMR, what they had was a system where a client would fill out a form on the website that manually emailed the people. So it sent, if someone filled out a form, it emailed them. They then used a VPN, which is a virtual private network, to access a server on premise, to fill out an access database. So it was like a really complicated Excel document that was living on a box in the corner of their office on the side of the beach with really bad internet access. And wherever they were, they had to use this VPN. So it was like dial up to try and access this one file in a box. To add a new line to this access database, so like an Excel file. Every time somebody submitted a new form. They then went and logged into MyOb and filled out that person's name and typed in the address again. They then logged into a security system and created that person a tag so that when that person unlocked the gate, they could go in and do that. So VMR, they a volunteer marine rescue, so people with boats pay them money and become members, so that if they're drowning or the boat sinking, they call them and they'll come and rescue them. So they had a on-premise system to open the boom gate and stuff. So they had to log in and say this person's allowed to access the systems. They also then went and added them into MailChimp so that they could get newsletters and things. The people out on the boats would also use the VPN to check, is this person an active member? So someone calls up and says, my number plate is this and I'm drowning, come and help me. They go, let me just check if you've paid your membership. Pull out a laptop while they're rocking around on the waves to check if that person's paid their membership.
And if they haven't, see bad luck.
Pretty much, to see if they'll save them. And they also had to check that every single boat was insured. They were not allowed it on premise if they weren't insured. But that was a manual thing. Hey, did the person ever insure their boat? There's one sitting out there that's not insured, and it was totally manual to check individual boats' insurance.
Oh my God, okay.
It was hugely labor intensive, and it was a volunteer organization. So people were doing it for free, doing all this stuff, and it was a huge pain. So what we did was we simplified it. The first thing we did was we took out the database and put it into SharePoint. So it was always available, no matter where you are, any device on your phone, a 2-second search. And it was also permission based. So before on an access database, anyone who opened it could change it. So someone on that boat could slip and delete the whole thing.
Jesus Christ. Okay, it's a huge risk.
So we've totally automated that. And put it into an anytime, anywhere access, secure role-based thing. So certain people had certain rights. We then had the website forms automatically go into SharePoint. So instead of emailing them, it populated SharePoint. We then had a query from SharePoint asking about their insurance. So there was a field that was populated in there saying, oh, your insurance is due, and automatically went and emailed them and said, hey, you need to update a new insurance certificate. So that saved so much time automatically triggering for insurance. We then integrated with their on-premise system via a gateway that when someone was added and their membership renewed, it told the little key tag they had to authorize their gate access. So when they first got added, there is a small step that does get them to create a tag, but for renewals and stuff. And if they don't pay their membership, we lock them out of the boom gate that day.
Wow, okay. So there's a lot of automation.
A lot, we then accessed MyOb so that renewals will automatically email them an invoice and they can pay with MyOb online, and that updates their membership. So it's completely automated. And the last thing we did was put them into MailChimp automatically as well. So there was totally nothing else for them to do.
Yeah.
And we saved them something like 150 hours
Jesus.
just by doing that. So that was their story.
Yeah.
So 1,000 hours. And we also found over $100,000 in missed revenue because they weren't chasing people for their
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the outcomes were 150,000 of missed revenue found that they weren't billing for because people didn't know about the renewals missed.
Yeah.
And 3,000 hours.
Jesus.
Which is
so that's pretty amazing. Like, did they?
Yeah. Which is 1.5 full-time equivalents.
Wow.
So if they were paid, that would be over 100K.
That's intense. Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah, you definitely want one of those stories.
Yeah. So that's
there.
I
can see what's happening.
So that is the one story that is sort of already on this thing, and why that diagram. But the thing is that what we've just done there, recorded that. I would love for that recording of that animation. Yeah. That little recording that. Maybe not me talking to it dodgily then. Maybe we just so what we did with a nice voice. I probably should have spoke to it nicer, so you could have snipped it.
Yeah, that could have. But I like that.
But I've been meaning to record that animation for a while.
We need to get that sort of stuff out there because people are very visual. You can write it down. Everyone's like, okay, I sort of understand it. But when it's like that, it's a clear, okay.
So I did that one night before Tristram's not-for-profit presentation, and we've used it a few times. But it's
but it is. People are visual people, regardless of age. It's just
So. Okay. I don't have a good as a story for all our other clients.
Right, okay. This was our top shelf.
This is the one that is articulated. And we've got that video testimonial of him while we're out in the boat. So that's one of the stories.
All right.
Emails. Who else did we recommend?
Honeywell.
Honeywell is an interesting one because we originally failed with them. They came to us and asked for Business Central help, and we went out there with a partner to quote on some stuff, and the partner consistently let us down, screwed around with the meetings, nard and overpromised, and then said, "Oh, well, actually, can't do that." And he said, "Look, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to go with someone else." And Tristram kept chasing him and asked about some other stuff. And then he said, the people I went with for Business Central don't know anything about SharePoint. Can you help me with SharePoint? And Tristram said, yes, we definitely can. And we'll do that in-house and go talk to him. So I went in and fixed it. And now he loves us. And he's also, we've had client referrals.
Oh, okay.
So Dickinson came from Honeywell.
All right.
And we were sitting down at the Queensland leaders, sitting across the table from them, and they said, 365 Solutions Group, hey, you're the people who did that thing for Honeywell, aren't you? And we're like, yes, who are you? And like, oh, we work with Honeywell, and he won't shut up about the system you built for him.
Oh, okay, so good word of mouth from that, which is a huge turnaround.
Yes. Okay. So huge turnaround. Okay. Now, what we did for him was a series, let's pull it up, of integrations and SharePoint forms. So where is it? Oh, come on.
Oh yeah, it's too painful today. There we
go. So they already had a SharePoint intranet, but it was a mess, and they had weird access all over the place, so we fixed it. So we firstly provided a single source of truth, and completely automated a lot of their admin. Okay. So, for example, we have the ability when they create a new project, they fill out a standardized form that is integrated with Business Central. So this is integrated with their, they fill out a standardized form that is integrated with Business Central. So they're choosing their customers and information, looking up to their accounting system. So this is all integrated. These are from there. And they've got like a shared mailbox that they create folders under.
Okay. Yeah.
And they've got a series of template libraries. So they choose the mailbox, the library, and the client, and then click submit. and that actually goes and generates a bunch of libraries.
Okay.
So it creates a library with folders. So it creates a document repository.
Yeah.
It creates a new mailbox library. It creates a project in Business Central. So one form creates about 8 things.
Okay. A lot of automation there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, it is a very automatic thing, but it's about this one is very integrated with the ERP system. So it's it has saved them hours and hours of time by pulling together different systems and using information from different systems. So they have their clients in Business Central, and we've leveraged that in a single form that then generates document repositories and email repositories.
Right.
So it's very different to VMR because that's all about one, whereas this is about one form doing lots of things.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and we've done that in a number of ways because they also have a few things that are generating documents. So we've got a fee proposal form as well. So they fill out a fee proposal form and it generates a Word document and then turns into a PDF and sends that onto the client.
Okay.
So generate a fee proposal. We did a leave request and an expense claims request that all go back to their accounting system. Okay. So it's lots and lots of forms, but what the message is for the client story is that we save them significant administration hours by integrating forms and revolutionizing a very manual process. Maybe the message is too similar to I'm just trying to think about it is about thing is it is creating things. So where VMR is just feeding information backwards and forwards, this is one of the only few where we were actually creating a whole library structure.
Okay.
And creating mailboxes based on one form.
Okay, that's easy. Yeah, that's fine. I can feel that.
So yeah, I don't want to give you too much details, just really what you need.
Yeah. Well, worst case, I can just put it together and get you to look at it higher because that'll save you time rather than putting it together.
And on there we also had a why. So why did we do this for them? So they will use waste. Again, I don't want the why to be the same as VMRs, but they were wasting a lot of time and to spend more time doing the other stuff. So maybe I got to.
Well, I think there's a risk with the VMR in the sense of it was so open, where this could be a time-saving measure. That was a
that's
a risk-reducing.
We can do both sort of thing. And that one could be efficiency and risk sort of thing. Whereas this is about significant time saved by complete automation and in integration. This one is a more integration thing as well. All right, let's be more critical. So, JFP is an intranet and single source of truth. We also did the audit for them. So we can start. They are a urban consultancy, so they do town planning and stuff. So the engagement started with a audit where we fully reviewed their digital systems from end to end. And off the back of that, we had a 18-month roadmap of improvement phases. The first one of which has been completed and was to create a single source of truth within SharePoint, including I'm just trying to think how to word this. So it's what we have is, this is their intranet, but they have they've got 3 offices, and they've got all these disciplines. And so when an engineer from Brisbane looks at this, they only see those 2. They don't see all the others. Oh, okay. When Central Queensland surveyor looks at it, they only see those 2. They don't see the rest of them. So it's about dynamic content.
Yeah.
And only showing you what's important to you.
Yeah.
So
relevant.
Yeah, when a user looks at the environment, it's the company environment, but it's personalized. Yeah. Their experience is personalized to show the situational content, or I don't know, based on their discipline and location. And then we also created a series of forms and automations for them. But we've also done a simplified CRM in SharePoint. But again, I'm not sure how much information we want to do.
Well, the more the better, I reckon, and then I've got more to work with.
Yeah, cool. So just thinking the outcome for them is that they now have a single source of truth across and a place to go for all company information, which reduces time wasted looking for duplicate documents and incorrect versions.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, cool. Why they did it? They I don't know. They needed a source of truth.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I think we'll see that.
Cool. Dickinson's. That was a fun one. So they came from Honeywell.
Yeah.
Just trying to think.
That's such a good turnaround story. That obviously someone wasn't satisfied, and now you've literally got more business from it.
I know. So we do have good stories. We just got to tell them.
Got to get about it. And the more I know, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So Dickinson's is a great story as well, but I'm just trying to think if it's too similar. Super quick. They have an app, and they're a construction business. The guy's going out on site.
Yeah. Okay.
And the guy goes out on site. And does a QR code to fill out a induction. So it says, yes, I have my hat. Yes, I've got my boots. Oh, that's where the hospital is if I die. Cool. And does an induction on a form online.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as soon as he does it, he gets a text message that says, your induction number is 24695. And they go, cool. And then when they arrive on site, there's a QR code that says, check in here.
Yeah.
When they walk in the doors. And it says, what's your induction number? So proving they haven't done their induction. They type in their 24695 and their mobile number, just in case the system can't find that for some reason. And then that goes into the back end and queries the database that we've created for them. And the foreman on site, so the man walking around the construction site, has a tablet on him that says, Johnny Walker has just checked in. Here's his emergency contacts. He's he's confirmed he's got a hard hat.
Yeah.
Then he walks over and goes, hey, Johnny, you don't have a hard hat. You've just said that you've walked in with one. Go out and do it. Yeah. So the foreman's got a tablet with an app on it.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, James, why are you here? You're not here on the list. Why have you checked in?
Yeah.
Get off.
Yeah. Okay.
And he can control who's on site, who's authorized to be on site, who doesn't have their compliance checks.
Okay.
So if an auditor comes around and says, are you compliant? There's 10 guys over there. Are they authorized? Yep, here is their safety certificate. This the guy at the top of the poll is authorized and has his green card to be up there.
Okay.
Or white card, whatever they call
it.
Yeah. So that first step, they upload documentation and stuff, and then it's surfaceable on the tablet.
Okay.
So it's about a construction safety system.
Yep.
Working with contractors, and we're about to build some portals and a bunch of other backhouse stuff for them, but that's the part we've already got, including texting a induction number to external consultants. So it's a huge safety risk and compliance that we've saved them. So there's no stuffing around with an old laptop saying, hang on, I know that he uploaded it when he started with us 2 years ago. Let me find that.
Because Ben works in construction. I wonder if that obviously is something. Did you create that? Like, that's amazing.
We came up with that. Actually, Dolmini helped. I mean, I came up with the idea, but Dolmini wrote the workflow for me.
Like that is amazing. Like that kind of thing, I think you should have everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
so Lyndall said, why don't we package this and sell it? I'm like, great idea.
Yeah.
So Natasha, you now know about marketing. Go sell it.
I know, because even I'm not in construction. I'm like, wow. Because you think how many like random subbies come on. It's like, well, do we know who he is? Like, do you know?
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, you have to, and it tells you what contractor they came from, who their boss is.
Wow.
Because and they can't complete that the individual induction unless their manager or their construction consultant or whatever, the other people above them has done their induction first.
Right.
So if they check in or just walk in on the site, they asked if they could get a little printout of the number to get it stuck on their helmet, so they can go yep.
Yeah.
But we said, oh, we don't really do sticker printouts. Here's the name of someone.
But yeah, that kind of stuff we do absolutely need to get out. Like that's.
Yeah. So.
No, I'm like,
that's your job.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I'm telling you. So we should, maybe we should have like a monthly thing where I tell you the stories that we've done this month, because these are like this is in the last little while.
Yeah. Well, we definitely obviously like showcase what Microsoft can do, but let alone like our ingenuity.
What we've done. Yeah.
Like that's.
Through my brain, babies.
Yeah.
Cool. So why they did that? Yeah, they needed. They wanted a better way to help with auditing and also safety. So is it so that there was and also the other thing it'll do is at the end of the day when the foreman's walking off the site, is he can say, oh, James is still checked in. He never checked out, because at the end of the day they check out as well. He says James is still checked out. Oh, he's fallen down a hole. He's like yeah. So
it's a lot of paperwork.
Exactly. I'll just pretend I'll check it out.
James actually
okay. So it's a safety check thing as well. So it's
yeah, I like it. I definitely think we need to do stuff like this. Or like that's where you would bring it in. Because like-minded companies like we need that, and it's
exactly. And we do have to be careful around. We came up with the idea, but they said we need something for this. So it's if we sell to their competition, suddenly they've lost an edge. So like with Honeywell, we can't, all the automation they're doing, we could just template it and sell it to their competition. But that was his idea. So we've got to be careful around IP. But telling people that we've saved time and stuff, we can definitely do that. Okay. Cool. So, sorry, I'm taking a long time. There's just lots to tell.
No, that's.
Pickwick.
Yep, Pickwick.
We've done lots of them in the history, but this particular project. So, we've actually done 2 Power BI projects for them, which was cool.
Yeah.
We've done some training for them as well, some Power BI training. But the first Power BI project we did for them was for a software called Lighthouse.
Okay.
And this Lighthouse software pinged off, background, Pickwick are a sort of company that do cleaning and stuff, and they do urban utilities and stuff. So
I've never heard of I've heard of them, but I never knew what they did.
So they do so like the is it Waterworks at Fortitude?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's near there.
Yeah.
They control the security and the cleaning of that facility. So they hire people to walk around there and make sure that there's no dirt on the ground, and the men walking around being like, "Oh, you get out of there." Yeah. They employ them.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that's what they do.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is content.
I always hear pick. I'm bad pick.
And they so they work with a lot of contractors. They contract a lot of people. They don't employ them directly. They employ security companies.
Yeah, like third party. Yeah.
But they facilitate all the different places and get contracts and stuff together.
Okay.
And so they Lighthouse is a tool that they had special beacons around the premises.
Yeah.
And apps on the staff's phones that when a cleaner walked into a toilet, it pinged and said, she's just cleaned the toilet at 8 a.m. And then it checks how long until next time she cleans the toilet. And it says it was 8 hours. She was on scheduled to work here for 12 hours. There is 4 toilets. She cleaned this one twice and she cleaned this one once.
Oh, okay. So it's like a little,
Yeah.
It's a due diligence check whilst training them. Yeah.
So that's they had that app. They had this system.
Yeah.
But it spat out a whole bunch of entry times,
Right.
and they had no idea what to do with that. So we built a Power BI report. Dashboard to understand and to give them how are they people tracking, which staff are being efficient, and also we did a whole bunch of logic around cancelling out false positives. If they walked in, went to grab some toilet paper and walked back in 2 minutes later, that was 1 clean, not 2. So it was counting how many times they went in, but any that were within 10 minutes of each other they cancelled out. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas then there were times where a particular toilet wouldn't be like no one would walk into it for 3 days, and like, so this toilet hasn't been cleaned, but there's been people employed there. So did the beacon fail, or has it not been cleaned in 3 days?
Wow. Okay.
So there was a accountability for the staff. But also, what's stopping you from just going and walking into all of them and not cleaning
saying,
them?
sure, I've done it. All right. So it's accountability.
So that was one point, but we provided them the dashboard that made sense of the data of the system that they had, and gave them real business intelligence to make, real-time things. So it updated 4 times a day. So it showed people tracking in real time. We had smart interactive graphics, and we were talking about actually having a layout of the premises.
Oh wow.
With red dots and counting and stuff on them.
So it's like a visual.
Yeah. So it's very visual and interactive dashboards.
Okay.
That was one of the projects we did with Power BI. For Pickwick. The second one we're doing now. Sorry, do you have any questions about that?
No, that's good. It's very impressive what we're doing.
It is.
It's nice to see this side. Usually I'm on the other side.
The second one we're doing for them now is they've got a tool called PeopleTrain, which is a very similar sort of thing, but it's about the time logging. So they have people who are doing rosters and just like the schedules and stuff of in and out. But we're doing it for the guys in WA. So it's not about where people are going in and out, but it's just about the management of the cleaners and stuff. Now we've done a Power BI that's looking at the stats and functionality things, but the problem was they wanted these reports available to the clients. So they wanted Qantas to be able to look in and see who's logging in and cleaning things. So they wanted client access to their reports. Now, Power BI can do that for $13.70 per person who logs in and looks at it. And they had thousands of clients, which is very expensive. So what we're getting Peter O'Gorman to help us do is actually for next tier up in Power BI, for $1,000 a month, which isn't that much when they're paying $1,000 13. They can embed it securely in the background of their website. And for just a client code or a username, they can access it and filter that data still. So it's one report that is filtered by a row level security, RLS, which means every row of data is secured to an individual.
Wow.
And it's not licensed. So this is what Winfred's been doing about row level security in Power BI. And Peter is embedding it on the website with a higher level of license. So in their website, they log in. And Qantas can look at the report that shows the people who are cleaning the Qantas Club, how when they logged in, how long they were there, how much it's costing them, and there's only one report that Winfred built, and it's got millions of rows of data.
It's like a powerhouse, isn't it?
It's got millions of rows of data that's filtered down just for that one user.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So it's about client accessibility of rich interactive data and visual reports. To have to have it accessible on a secure, authenticated website that doesn't cost per client.
So it's a cost saving as well, isn't it? On top of everything. Wow. Okay. Good.
Cool.
I think that's probably we've got 4.
5. So I think I'd like to do a CRM one, which is the last one there around smart employment.
Yes. CRM's fine.
Cool.
Let's do it.
So you know what CRM is? Obviously,
Yes.
you use it all the time.
Yep.
You're a pro on that one. So we did Smart Employment are a talent services not-for-profit on the Gold Coast.
Okay.
They help people leaving school find apprenticeships.
Okay.
And help them go through processes and stuff, and they do like advanced training and stuff, but they're not for profit. And we developed a CRM for them that was their member management process.
Okay.
So it was about pulling together they had a list of in ours we've got customers and contacts.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we've got opportunities and leads.
Yeah.
They had companies.
Yeah.
And students.
Right.
And then they had placements instead of opportunities. So a placement had we had opportunity had a contact and an account.
Yeah.
They had a placement that had a company and a student.
Right. Okay.
So they had a placement.
Yeah.
Was a process like our opportunity. There was steps.
Yeah.
A placement had a series of steps.
Yeah.
But it was a student being placed at a TAFE or at a apprenticeship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So little Johnny would be placed at Dickinson Constructions for a period of time.
Right.
And during that time, Smart Employment made sure that they had their right letter of acceptance. They chased them up and said, "Hey, how you going?" It says, "Do you have any problems here?"
So like a mentor almost.
So they were monitoring the placement of students at apprenticeships. And we built the system that helped facilitate that apprenticeship and student management.
Yeah.
As well as automatic contract creation from Word templates.
Yeah.
Advanced reporting.
Yeah.
And interactive task management to the admin team. So we had every morning the admin team would open Dynamics and it would say, you have 4 check-ins to make on these apprentices. You've got 3 follow-ups for these companies, and these apprenticeship companies have their contracts for renewal.
Right. Okay.
So we did quite a lot of task management in Dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was about, again, bringing a single source of activity together for their admin team. They had 4 or 5 admins who had a single source of truth. If they just logged in and said, Natasha is in control of these 8 companies and therefore these 20 apprentices.
Yeah. Okay.
But it also helped them match them together.
Yeah.
So if they knew that someone called up and said, "Hey, I want a new apprentice," I said, "Great, we've got these 12 people available right now. Oh, you want them on a Friday? Change the filter. Okay, now we've only got 4 people available on a Friday."
Perfect. Oh, I like that a lot. So yeah, obviously we talk about automating processes, but you don't really see the effect, or you don't really know of the effect it has until you're in these kind of conversations. You're like, wow. So yeah, this is stuff we need to get out. I 100% agree.
Cool.
Okay.
So that's, I'm trying to think. Those are the ones that I thought of at the time. What are the, can you show me the capability statements? To see if there's any. Sorry, yours is not. So let's see. We talked about something for that.
Yeah.
Talked about a CRM.
Yeah.
Document management. Okay. Oh, we haven't talked about a Power Apps.
No.
Power App.
Oh, do we have one that we?
Yes, many. So many Power Apps.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
We did talk about Power BI. I haven't talked about MSP, which we could talk about as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And DMS, we talked about the JFP one. It's kind of it's more of an intranet than a DMS, but we could spin that to be information management, same thing.
Okay.
We've done enough DMSs. We do them all the freaking time. Cool. Power App. What's a fun Power App? Oh, so many. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Sporting Wheelies.
Yep.
Because we did a incident management app for them. Let me just bring up the one. Go here.
I do have a 3 o'clock with Karen from Brand for Profit, but that's...
Oh, cool, yeah. Sorry, it won't take too long. So, Sporting Wheelies is a not-for-profit down the coast, I think, or they're between here. They're like in Beenleigh or something.
Yeah.
Where's Params? And they help disabled people play sports.
Oh.
Yes, it's lovely. Where is Params? Why is it not there? Oh, there it is. Cool. So they have a lot of volunteers and staff members working in, at a basketball court with parents and volunteers and people with disabilities there, which means there's often incidents like someone having a seizure.
Right.
Or someone falling out of their wheelchair and breaking their arm and stuff.
Oh my God.
So they need to manage their incidents in a very compliance way. So we built them a compliance incident management app, which can be accessed, installed on a device, including a phone or a tablet, or accessed in the browser like I am doing here. And it can also be embedded in SharePoint. They have called it Eyeball. I don't know why, because they like balls and it's like checking. I mean, they're sporting people, I meant. Sorry. Cool. So in this case, they can report a incident or a hazard. So a hazard is something that might happen. An incident is something that has happened. When they report something that both of these forms are very similar, the only difference is that something that might happen has a likelihood, whereas something that has happened doesn't have a likelihood. There is a matrix behind each of these that explains what is the likelihood behind it and the consequences examples. So it tells you what is a catastrophic impact would be more than $1 million. And then so you get to choose and it automatically changes the risk rating. So they have a risk matrix in the background that's automatically determining what the risk rating is. So they say it's something that is almost certain going to happen with a catastrophic problem. That's a very high risk rating. So they say this is a hazard that's going to happen. It is in relation to a media issue. So something, the politician just fell down the stairs. A potential financial loss, something getting hurt, systems outage. So what's it related to? And then who is involved? So they get to add people. Now, they've again got different types of people. So say I was involved and it knows who I am because it's Microsoft. A member, athlete or client was involved, and then it goes and looks up to their system. So they have a list somewhere of all of their athletes. It then says, okay, a volunteer was involved. And again, this is a different list of athletes, of volunteers. A staff member was involved so that they can then search their staff list to search. Well, again, it knows who these people are. And then if there's someone else, then you can then say this was a parent or someone who was on site. So you can actually just put in somebody, it was a parent as a casual thing. So then what that does is it puts a de-identified code in front of that person so that when you're describing it, you say, please say, P1 fell down and split her pants, and it was hilarious.
Sorry.
Okay, we're almost done.
Did you reschedule Winfred again?
What time am I meant to be meeting?
2:30.
No.
Okay.
Poor Winfred.
I am ready.
I've rescheduled him 4 times today.
You'd be busy.
Yes. So you explain what happened, but you write in a de-identified way,
Yeah.
so that when we can share this out without having names. So you can say that instead of saying, "Oh, Natasha fell down, it was hilarious," you can say P1 tripped over and there was an incident. So you say when it happened, specific location, describe the incident. Were there witnesses? Yes. If so, you get the same function where you can add a table.
Yeah.
Would you like it to remain confidential? If yes, it takes all the names out.
Okay.
If you say no, you can put names in.
Okay. Okay.
And if you want to say yes, I want to keep up to date, then the process where you go next, it actually goes through a resolution process where they've got a workflow in the background where it upscales to the managers and gets them to go investigate. And then they've got the process where they can say, yes, this is resolved. These are the actions I took. And it goes and updates their risk management internally to say this happened. These are the risks we took so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So these are the steps.
Yeah.
And they can also upload photos, but I won't click that because it saves it when I do that. And they can also copy an existing hazard. So if this happens all the time, they can actually choose one of the existing ones and copy it. So they can pick one and then copy it to the next one.
Okay.
And if they can view all, they can actually come in here and see some of the recent ones.
Yeah.
And if I was an admin, I'd be able to, so you can be able to, so there's corrective actions and change to risk register. So these would be able to update in the background.
Jesus, and we built that.
Yeah. This is the app. This is one of many apps. This is a good example of one.
Yeah.
That is accessible on phone, accessible on tablet.
Yeah.
Okay. So it can save time, effort, security, compliance, and helps because it's available anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we did for this one, but for Power Apps, we can also make offline mode available. So even if there's no internet, they can still open it on their phone, fill it in, click submit, and then when the internet comes back, it'll submit it up into the cloud.
Wow. Okay. That is a lot I've got enough to work with, I reckon.
Yeah.
So I can do this afternoon. I'll email it to you. I'll let Tristram know that we have to have this meeting, and then I'll get him something Monday.
Awesome.
Just so you're not like them trying to condense everything into this afternoon.
Cool. Thank you.
That's right. All right. Well, you go do Winfred. What have I got?
Stop recording. And that